I've got a couple of letters from Ted Cruz that I think you're going to want to see, so stick with me, folks, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I've got a couple letters that are going around from Congress that I think you really need to see. This first one is by Ted Cruz himself. He's the only one that's on this, but I think that he has a really good point here, and I wanted to let you know about this. This was dated September 11th, and he wrote it to Barr. So, Dear Attorney General Barr, the video streaming service and content producer Netflix is currently hosting a film entitled Cuties that sexualizes young girls, including through dance scenes that simulate sexual activities and a scene exposing a minor's bare breast. I urge the Department of Justice to investigate the production and distribution of this film to determine whether Netflix, its executives, or the individuals involved in the filming and production of Cuties violated any federal laws against the production and distribution of child pornography. 2 days ago, Netflix released Cuties to its subscribers in the United States. The film, directed by a French director, is ostensibly about an 11-year-old in Paris who becomes a member of a provocative dance group with other similarly aged girls. The film routinely fetishizes and sexualizes these pre-adolescent girls as they perform dances simulating sexual conduct in revealing clothing, including at least one scene with partial child nudity. These scenes in and of themselves are harmful, and it is likely that the filming of this movie created even more explicit and abusive scenes, and that pedophiles across the world in the future will manipulate and imitate this film in abusive ways. As you know, the Department of Justice has a significant role in preventing the sexual abuse of children. The department enforces federal criminal law, making it a serious crime to produce or distribute material involving the sexual exploitation of minors, including the filming of minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct. By the way, they really don't call it, I think in the actual code it's not called child pornography. Instead, they use the more inclusive term, sexual exploitation of children, because that way, people don't have to say, well, pornography's okay because it's art, and what they're trying to tell everybody. It's not, but they try to tell everybody that to justify it, and so they will try to justify it under those terms. But because the term in the law is sexual exploitation, that'll definitely open it up so it makes it easier to charge them. So, by investigating and prosecuting offenders who possess and distribute images and videos sexually depicting minors, the department both obtains justice for those who have been abused and helps protect children from future sexual abuse and exploitation. Although the First Amendment provides vigorous protection for artistic expression, it does not allow individuals or for-profit corporations to produce or distribute child pornography. Accordingly, I urge the department to investigate the production of Cuties and Netflix's distribution of the film in order to determine whether Netflix, its executives, or anyone involved with the making of Cuties violated any federal laws against the production and distribution of child pornography. Now, you know that they have made a lot of child porn arrests lately, but, then doing something like this, it's just crazy. And here are several of them. This is from the Federalist. I mean, I've got a real question on this. Where are the parents? Who are the parents? Why would the parents allow their children to do this? Okay, let me be honest. I've not seen it. All I've seen are some of the pictures that people are putting around, and I've heard several, people that say it's just horrible that they did this. I understand that it's trying to prove the point that child exploitation is bad, but they do it by exploiting children. Okay? So you can't do that. It's just like saying, murder is bad, and then you go murder people, and you turn around and say, see, I told you murder was bad. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. No, you can't exploit children to make your point that exploiting children is a bad thing. That's just not right. Anyway, so yes, this is what that is about. And there are several in Congress, both Democrat and Republican, that are not happy with this and are asking, for some investigation into it, because it's just not right. And here are a few of them. Tom Cotton says, like any parent, I find Netflix's decision to peddle child pornography disgusting, and it's criminal. Department of Justice should take swift action. And then down here, this is from Jim Banks, who's one of the Indiana Republican representatives. Not mine, but he's in our state. As a father of 3 young daughters, I find Cuties sickening. Glad to join Senator Tom Cotton in calling on the DOJ to bring charges against Netflix for distribution of child pornography. And, as you go down here, Tulsi Gabbard says Netflix child porn Cuties will certainly whet the appetite of pedophiles and help fuel the child sex trafficking trade. 1 in 4 victims of trafficking are children. It happened to my friend's 13-year-old daughter. Netflix, you are now complicit. Cancel Netflix. And I hope a lot of people do that. I've heard that they are, and that there's a lot of people that are starting to just say goodbye. Well, like this. Cancel your Netflix subscription. Do not support the sexualization of children. Yep. It's happening. A lot of them are doing that. Netflix has lost over $9 billion in market value since the cancel Netflix hashtag went viral. Good. Any network that promotes pedophilia should fall. And then this one says, disappointed to see how it was positioned in terms of marketing. I understand the response of everybody, but it doesn't speak to the film I saw. So there are some people that are just, defending it. Oh, it's a beautiful film. It gutted me at the Sundance Festival. It introduces a fresh voice at the helm. She's a French Senegalese black woman mining her experiences. The film comments on the hypersexualization of pre-adolescent girls. Disappointed to see the current discourse. But again, you don't prove a point by doing the very thing you're trying to say is bad. You can't do that. That's just not the way it works. And here, you don't fight child exploitation by exploiting children. You don't stop child pornography by creating, selling, and distributing child pornography. If you call Cuties art or social statement, I call you a child abuser. We have no time for niceties while children are being sexualized for mass entertainment. Oh, I agree with that so much. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because there is an outrage, and it's an outrage on both sides of the aisle, actually. There are people who still have sensibilities left. Maybe not a lot of them. And notice it's not a lot of the elites on the Democrat side. Not a lot of them are mentioning anything about it. Find that very interesting. It just breaks my heart to see these little girls do this. It's just, so sad. And then I wanted to share this one with you too, because this is another one that was signed by several, and actually some on both sides. So this came out on September 11th as well, and this is to Bob Chapek, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company. And they said, Dear Mr. Chapek, we are writing to inquire about the Walt Disney Company's cooperation with elements of the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Regions, that's the XUAR, security and propaganda authorities in the production of Mulan. Disney's apparent cooperation with officials of the People's Republic of China, who are most responsible for committing atrocities or for covering up those crimes, is profoundly disturbing. The closing credits of Mulan extend thanks to the Turpan Municipal Bureau of Public Security and the Publicity Department of CPC Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region Committee, as well as other local level XUAR propaganda elements. In October 2019, the U.S. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security added the Turpan Municipal Bureau of Public Security to its entity list for human rights violations and abuses in the implementation of China's campaign of repression mass arbitrary detention, and high-technology surveillance against Uyghurs, Kazakhs, and other members of Muslim minority groups in the XUAR. The XUAR Publicity or Propaganda Department, which is an arm of the Chinese Communist Party, has denied, distorted, and otherwise covered up these crimes against humanity that also include forced labor and a campaign of mass sterilization, forced abortions, and birth suppression against Uyghurs. Publicly available information prior to the filming of Mulan showed the existence of mass internment camps for the detention of Uyghurs. By July 1st, 2018, major news outlets in the United States, Australia, United Kingdom, and Hong Kong all had reported that Beijing had interned hundreds of thousands, if not more than 1 million, Uyghurs and minorities in their XUAR. The decision to film parts of Mulan in the XUAR in cooperation with local security and propaganda elements offers tacit legitimacy to these perpetrators of crimes that may warrant the designation of genocide. As such, we request the following information. Please describe in detail the Walt Disney Company's cooperation with the Publicity Department of CPC Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region Committee and the Turpan Municipal Bureau of Public Security, as well as any other cooperation involving official PRC and CCP entities in the XUAR during the filming of Mulan. 2. Please describe the contractual requirements made by or requests made of the Walt Disney Company related to the naming of the Publicity Department of CPC Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region Committee and the Turpan Municipal Bureau of Public Security and any other PRC or CCP entity in the Mulan credits. 3. Please describe the extent to which officers and senior executives of the Walt Disney Company were aware of reports contemporaneous with the filming of Mulan that the PRC and CCP were carrying out a campaign of mass surveillance and detention against Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities in the XUAR. If they were not aware, how will the Walt Disney Company ensure their officers and executives are made aware of publicly reported mass surveillance and detentions in the future? 4. Please describe the extent to which film and production teams were aware of mass surveillance and detention of Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities in the XUAR while they were researching and filming the location. Please describe the reasoning that led the Walt Disney Company to go ahead with the filming of Mulan in light of these widely available and credible reports of the PRC and CCP's egregious human rights abuses in the XUAR, and whether filming with the XUAR was related to ensuring access to the PRC market. They're trying to nail them down here. Number 5, please describe the Walt Disney Company's use of local labor while filming in the XUAR, including any cooperation with the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corps and use of Uyghur or other ethnic minority labor, as well as any due diligence performed to ensure that no forced labor was used during the film's production in the XUAR. Please identify the Walt Disney Company's units and subsidiaries that perform the aforementioned due diligence and any company that they contracted to perform such due diligence. Yeah, like they really did. Please describe the role of PRC-based officers and executives of the Walt Disney Company or its subsidiary, the Walt Disney Company China Limited, in the decision-making related to filming Mulan in the XUAR. Please confirm whether the Walt Disney Company or its subsidiaries involved in the filming of Mulan were required by PRC or CCP authorities to establish a Communist Party committee or branch for its Chinese employees, and if so, whether that committee or branch played a role in the company's decision to film in Xinjiang. Does the Walt Disney Company have a policy about cooperating with entities that are known human rights abusers? If so, please share it. If not, please explain why not. Please identify regions, whether in the United States or throughout the world, where the Walt Disney Company has refused to film or engage in production for reasons other than those based on economic costs. And they put that one in because didn't they refuse to film in Georgia because of the politics? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that's what happened. So, be interesting on that. The Walt Disney Company's website states, quote, "We believe social responsibility is a long-term investment that serves to strengthen our operations and competitiveness in the marketplace, enhance risk management, attract and engage talented employees, and maintain our reputation. We seek to fully understand how you implement this commitment in the activities you undertake in China. We look forward to your prompt and detailed responses to these requests." And then it's signed by several here. I mean, you've got a lot. You even got this Tom Malinowski. Yeah. So there's several on here. Anyway, it goes on. So most of them are Republicans here, but there are a few scattered in there of the Democrats, or at least Malinowski is. I know that. So, there you go. Will it do any good? Well, we'll see. We'll see if they come up with anything. But there needs to be some awareness of this, with this Mulan. In case you don't understand the situation, this was a live version of the movie Mulan. They had an animated version before. And they filmed it in China itself. And in order to do that, they had to make some concessions with the Chinese government on the storyline. And the storyline is not true to what the original was because it had to paint the Chinese government in a very good light. And it needed to paint this hero or heroine, in this case, Mulan. It had to paint her as someone who was working for the greater good of the party. Well, back then it was of the country, but still, it would be someone who was a good Chinese person who was doing what the leadership told them to do, kind of thing. And this was a little different than, the storyline as it started out. So this is asking them basically, just how much of a compromise did you have to make? What kind of pressure was put on you? And why did you give in? That's really what they're trying to get at. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if they're going to actually maybe call him in front of Congress. That could be an interesting thing to find out. But, when you're dealing with another country like this, especially China is very deceptive in how they deal with other countries. And we've talked about this in several videos now. I've done several on China. But, their way of thinking is that deception is a good thing. And that you should always deal with your enemies with deception. And, that's not a bad thing. They see that as a virtue. When you're dealing with deceivers and it's okay for them to lie, how do you ever know when they're telling you the truth? So, anyway. Well, that's what I've got for you on this one. I know this one is short, but it's, been a long day. And I'm still recuperating from Friday night. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, tons and tons. So next time I'll be better at it. I'm kind of thinking maybe the last Saturday of this month. So that may be where we're going to have another chance to do a live stream. I've just got to coordinate with Eric, my handy dandy helper there. He did a great job moderating, and I want to make sure that I check with him, and we'll see if we can't get something set up. But since I can't do another live stream this week, I'm thinking of maybe Saturday night of this week. I would do another premiere, which allows me to at least be in the chat with you guys, and so I can chat back and forth with you. So I think probably that's what I'll do this Saturday. I don't know what the date is. Let me look. That would be the 19th. I don't know. I need to look on that too, because if President Trump has a rally, I don't want to schedule at the same time because, hey, I want to watch the rally too. So I'll try to figure that out, and I'll let you know one of these days. I want to try to shift it around a little bit from time to time. So maybe people that can't make it on one night could make it on a different night. So I like hanging out with you guys. It's fun. And I don't have a shout out for tonight. I'm kind of tired still. So I'm just going to say thanks for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.